Earlier this morning on Fox News, Lindsey Graham told a lie so absurd that even the Fox News host laughed him off the air as they went to commercial.
Well, what comes next is the border is breaking down as I speak. Immigration in 2022 will be a bigger issue than it was in 2016. I just got back from the border. They're changing every policy of Trump that worked. So we're going to be dealing with, as a nation, out of control immigration. They're going to open up a 100% the migrant facilities, living facilities, but we're not opening up schools or businesses. Find it odd. We're going to raise your taxes. They're going to try to. And they're rolling back policies to allow the border to be overrun. The asylum claims are going to go through the roof. And by the summer, you're going to have 1 million people coming into this country illegally, all because the liberals can do it.
1 million people sounds like it's more than a couple of years totals, by the way. 2021, 1 million people. That's more than 18 and 19.
Yeah, get ready for an invasion at the border. Get ready.
Senator, thank you so much. Senator Lindsey Graham joining us this morning.
So that was Graham on Maria Bartiromo's Fox News show this morning, this afternoon, basically saying, after a whole bunch of lies on everything from stimulus to other things, that the Democrats are going to allow in 1 million illegal people, 1 million, illegal immigrants, 1 million undocumented people this summer, and they're going to do it. He doesn't really give a reason. He just says they're going to do it because they can. The liberals want to destroy the country, and they're just going to allow in 1 million people to do that. And even Maria Bartiromo has to hold back directly laughing at Lindsey Graham. Like, she's really trying everything in her power to not just laugh at him, like, directly. She's chuckling, she's smirking, she's giving these weird looks with her eyes like she's looking to her camera people and her producers, being like, is this guy for real? Is this dude for real? Just saying this brazen of a lie? And she says to him, like, Lindsey, that's a ridiculous amount of people. Like, even if you're worried about this issue, I think it's a mythological issue, but even if you are worried about it, it's a ridiculous amount of people to claim. That's many years of people, even under the quote-unquote worst case estimate. And like, you're just spreading this lie. And then Lindsey has almost this like nervous look on his face that he got called out even on Fox News, because Lindsey goes on Fox to not get called out. He goes on Fox to not face any criticism or any actual, pushback on his lies and misinformation and disinformation. And he's like, just wait, because it's going to come. The liberals are going to get you. They're going to ruin the country just because they can. And like, she basically kind of plays him off the air. And I think that's really telling just how unhinged Lindsey Graham and the conservatives are, even after Trump. Remember, one of the arguments you heard, including from some in the Democratic Party, I have to say, is that once Trump was gone, once Trump was defeated, done and dusted, the Republican Party would gradually, at least, become more reasonable, less radical, more willing to compromise, and more based in science and reality and truth. And we've seen the opposite. We've seen 100% the opposite. They've become more obstructionist, they've become more unhinged, they've become more conspiratorial, and if anything, they've become more pro-Trump, because everybody that isn't pro-Trump seems to be getting forced out, either formally or at least, getting like isolated from the party structures. And Lindsey Graham is an example of this. This is a guy that, if anything, has become more and more pro-Trump since Trump lost. Right? And Maria Bartiromo is not one of the quote-unquote moderate Fox News hosts. She's not. She was one of the people Trump often did interviews with precisely because she allowed Trump spread his lies and misinformation and disinformation. So Trump didn't want to give any more interviews to Chris Wallace, didn't want to give interviews to people like that, but loved having Maria Bartiromo interview him because she really didn't actually push back. She was a sounding board. She would ask him questions that he wanted to be asked. He would give the answers he wanted. She would say, good point, sir, and then move on to the next question and give Trump basically a free infomercial every time he was on the show. And even for her, one of the people on Fox that helped spread Trump's big lie, this is too much. This really is telling. The conservatives in the United States have nothing. They have no real criticism of Joe Biden. As I've noted on this channel, there's lots to criticize Biden on, but it's all from the left. Every bit of legitimate criticism of Joe Biden is from the left. He's not fighting hard enough for a minimum wage. He's not fighting hard enough to cancel student loan debt. He's not fighting hard enough for climate justice. All these sorts of things. He's not putting enough pressure on conservative Democrats to ensure they vote to enact the promises he ran on. But these right-wing things, all they have is Dr. Seuss and Biden's dog looking unkept and Oreo cookies saying trans people exist and all these sorts of things. And now they have to make up conspiracies at the border because they have nothing. Remember this. There is no legitimate criticism of Joe Biden coming from conservatives right now. And so they just have to lie. And even Fox News is starting to smell the BS.